black and blue and watch your Super Bowl dreams till they all come true.
Tiger Stadium on the campus of Louisiana State University here in Baton Rouge. We're ready for the Dolphins and the Saints in the first regular season professional sporting event in Louisiana since Hurricane Katrina. Hi everybody, I'm Gus Johnson along with my partner Steve Tasker. Dolphins, Saints have both battled adversity this season, but each team continues to fight hard.
Well, fighting hard isn't enough, Gus. They've got to play more consistently. For the Dolphins, Gus Frerotte has got to complete a higher number of his passes. It hasn't been all his fault. He has not gotten any help from his running game. Ricky Williams, since his return, has been awful. The only bright spot for the Dolphins has been Ronnie Brown. Look for him today to get this offense on track.
Because of Katrina, all 16 games this season for the Saints are road games. However, Aaron Brooks has really brought this team together.
Well, because of the adversity, this team really has a higher level of camaraderie, and Aaron Brooks is going to try and attack this Dolphin defense that's been depleted by injury, and he gets Joe Horn back in the lineup today to help him do it.
All right, so Nick Saban returns to Baton Rouge, where he led the LSU program to the national championship back in 2003 with a 13-1 record. His team losing last Friday 30-20 to Kansas City. On the other sideline, Jim Haslett and the New Orleans Saints. Coach Haslett in his 6th season, and his team losing 28-17 last week at St. Louis. The Dolphins lead the series 5-3, their last meeting back in 1998. Dolphins winning it. In that game, our colleague Dan Marino threw his 400th career touchdown, while the Dolphins defense forced 4 turnovers and recorded 6 sacks. Miami won the toss, and they've elected to receive, so Mitch Berger will tee it up and send it away. And back deep, the very dangerous Wes Welker, averaging close to 22 yards per return. Dolphins and Saints here in Baton Rouge. First meeting since 1998, and they're expecting at least 60,000 fans in attendance for this football game at Tiger Stadium. For professional football, it normally seats 79,000. And here we go. Line drive kick. Welker from the goal line. They run the reverse. Around the corner goes Brian Gilmore. And Brian Gilmore is dropped. Nice looking special teams tackle by Fakir Brown. So here comes Gus Frerotte. Last week, the numbers against Kansas City: 11 of 29, 125 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Those 125 passing yards were versus a Chiefs pass defense ranked 30th in the NFL. First down and 10. Ball at the 17 for Miami. Ronnie Brown in the backfield. Here's Brown trying to get outside, and does. Ronnie Brown knocked out of bounds at the 22. A flag on the play. Josh Bullocks with the tackle. It's a gain of 6. Tom White, your referee today.
Gus, the Dolphins, remember, trying to bounce back from a Friday night game last week before Hurricane Wilma hit South Florida, and really they gave a flat effort.
And a holding penalty called against Miami. Let's take a quick look at the Miami offense, ranked 21st in the NFL in total offense, 18th in passing, 18th in rushing. McKinney, the center, McIntosh, James Hadnot, and Carey, the backs and receivers. Ronnie Brown turning out to be a very pleasant surprise at a 65-yard touchdown run last Friday against KC. Play action. Here's Frerotte throwing on the run to the sideline, and that is caught out of bounds. Goes Randy McMichael, and he's ushered out of bounds by Fred Thomas. It's a gain of 10. Defensively for the Saints, their defense forced 1 turnover but allowed 3 rushing touchdowns on 3 red zone possessions last week. Hodge is a sideline-to-sideline linebacker. And in the secondary, Mike McKenzie starts at left corner. Ricky Williams in the game now. First down, make that second down, and 5 at the 22. Here's Farrat over the middle, and the ball is caught. Marty Booker with the reception. He gains 8. Fred Thomas and Bullocks with the tackle.
You see here in the early going, Gus, it's really going to be important for Farrat just to complete enough passes to keep this team on the field. Their defense is so nicked up. They want to get first down after first down, eat up the clock, and keep Aaron Brooks and company off the field for their defense.
80th consecutive game with the reception for Marty Booker. And this will be a false start called against Miami.
And this has been the kind of thing that Nick Saban has had to put up with. I mean, they've really struggled with penalties on different games. They weren't too bad a few weeks ago, or last week against Kansas City, but a couple of weeks ago they set a team record for penalties in the game, and Nick Saban was livid over that statistic.
Makes it first down and a long 15. Here's Ronnie Brown. And Brown spinning. Ronnie Brown gets to the 33, an 8-yard gain. Willie Whitehead there for the tackle.
Well, this is what a good running back will do, Gus. When he gets this football, he just turns it up inside behind the lineman. You see there, as the Hadnot just tackled, or Seth McKinney just tackles the defender, and Ronnie Brown breaks a tackle. Anytime, Gus, a running back can break a tackle, it's bonus yards for the offense, and it turns 3rd and long into 3rd and short.
Last week, his 65-yard touchdown run was the 2nd longest for a Dolphins rookie. He won't go anywhere this time. Swarming defense led by Ron McKinnon. And no gain on the play for Miami.
Well, he's not going to break this tackle, Gus. He comes out to the same size. Sammy Morris in front of him. He turns back inside, and there's everybody. That's like Ronnie Brown walked into the wrong room, and it was a Saints team meeting.
Makes it 3rd down and 7 at the 33-yard line. Miami needs to go to the 40 for first down. Ricky Williams, Ronnie Brown in the backfield. Gus Farrat out of the shotgun. Here's Farrat. Steps up in the pocket. That one batted down. Tony Bryant getting a hand on the football, but a flag's on the play.
Yeah, this is a hold, and they'll decline this. It'll bring up the punt down. And Gus, this is one thing that the Dolphins have struggled with. Gus Farrat gets back into the pocket, and either one of 2 things happens. Either he doesn't have enough time to throw, or he can't hit the guy that he wants to make. He's made pretty good decisions, but hasn't been able to find the right receiver in the passing game.
So Donnie Jones has a net average of 40.8 yards per punt. That's first in the AFC, and he's ready to send it away. Dante Stallworth camping around the 25. High wobbly kick, short, and it takes a bounce. It is down to the 35, a 32-yard punt. So here comes Aaron Brooks and the New Orleans Saints on offense. Welcome back to Baton Rouge. Aaron Brooks, as you take a look at his numbers from last week, he's thrown for over 3,500 yards in 4 straight seasons. Brooks has 113 career touchdown passes. He needs 3 more to pass Archie Manning for the most in franchise history.
He's also good, got a knack for bringing this team back from behind. And he's 17 times in his career, he's brought them back in the 4th quarter to win games. And I'll tell you guys, don't think that's not lost on his teammates. They know that this guy can bring them back from a deficit even late in the game, and you love that in a quarterback.
So the Saints start at their own 35, first down and 10. Mike Carney, Antoine Smith line up in the backfield in the offset eye. Carney in motion. And here's Antoine Smith, the former Buffalo Bill and New England Patriot. Travis Daniels stands him up after a gain of 2. Let's take a look at the Saints offensively. Their line has given up 19 sacks. Wayne Gandy, making his 176th start of his career, is the leader in his 12th season. The backs and receivers, The Saints finally get Joe Horn back. He's been inactive 3 weeks, basically missed 4 weeks with a tender hamstring. 2nd down and 8 at the 37. Brooks, short drop underneath, and it's caught. Dante Stallworth goes up high and gets it at the 47. A 10-yard gain. Reggie Howard brings him down. Defensively for the Dolphins, their defense allowed a season high 462 yards against Kansas City. Jason Taylor playing with plantar fascia. That's a foot injury, but he's going anyway. Donnie Spragan starts for Junior Seau, missing his 2nd consecutive game because of an Achilles injury. And Travaris Tillman starts for Tabucky Jones, out with a pec injury. Also Sam Madison out because of a hip injury. 1st down and 10 at the 47. Here's Brooks. Steps up in the pocket with the lane, elects not to run, and he throws a strike. Beautiful toss to Joe Horn, and he makes the catch inside Miami territory. Reggie Howard replacing Sam Madison, brings him down, a gain of 12.
Well, this is exactly what the Saints wanted to do. Put the ball in the hands of Aaron Brooks, let him throw this football, and you can tell in that sequence he has got a rocket for an arm, and Joe Horn turns to the outside, and the ball is right there. Both feet tapped on the sideline. They make it look easy when it happens like that, Gus.
Joe Horn, a 4-time Pro Bowler. 1st down and 10 at the 41. Delayed handoff. Antoine Smith, big opening, breaks it to the outside, lowers his shoulder and gets inside the Miami 20. Reggie Howard stops him, but it's a gain of 23.
Gus, I had the pleasure of being a teammate of Antoine Smith before he became a world champion with the New England Patriots. This guy is big and he's fast. He's not one of those guys that will dipsy-do inside the pocket down in traffic. He is a downhill runner. If there's a gap there, you better get after him because he'll outrun you. He is a big physical back with a lot of years behind him. He's going to get every yard coming to him.
Smith comes into this game averaging 4.2 yards per carry. He has 2 1,000-yard seasons in his career, running it once again. Keith Traylor with the tackle as New Orleans gets inside the red zone. Smith gaining 2 yards on the play. So far this season, 24 trips inside the red zone, 9 touchdowns, 9 field goals for this Saints squad.
Very balanced so far for the Saints. Aaron Brooks throwing the quick release passes and getting some great runs by Antoine Smith here early. Really sets this offense up for the rest of the game if they can stay balanced.
Aaron Stecker now comes in the game to play tailback. 2nd and 8 at the 16. Brooks in trouble, breaks contain, throws in the end zone, incomplete. Dante Stallworth, the intended receiver. Reggie Howard right there.
Well, that's Aaron Brooks just improvising in the pocket. He stands out. It looked like he was going to trip and fall. Great balance as he ducks under Jason Taylor. Bumbled the ball and finally gets it away. Almost a great play. Howard does the right thing. Watch as he turns, just puts his hand up on Joe Horn and doesn't let him get that pass in there. Joe Horn knows he got there a little bit early, but that's a good no call by the official. Man, that's Aaron Brooks almost pulling one out of his hat.
Makes it 3rd down and 8 at the 16. Here's Brooks. Straight drop. Fires to the sideline, throws a missile. Is it a catch? It looks like it is a catch. Beautiful throw and catch on the far side. And that's Devery Henderson gaining 7 yards.
He had the 1st down when he caught it, but he got up and lost it. And now there's a penalty. Obviously, Tom White's microphone is broken. That's illegal contact down the field. And that's an automatic 1st down.
One thing about this Saints football team under Coach Haslett, they can move the ball. They average over 300 yards in total offense per game, which ranks them 11th in the NFL. 1st down and 10 at the Miami 11-yard line. Joe Horn splits to the top of your screen. Stallworth at the bottom. Aaron Stecker remains in at tailback. And that one thrown high by Aaron Brooks. A lot of injuries on this Dolphins defense.
Well, Jason Taylor is starting. He'll be in there, but you get three guys like this out of the lineup, that's really difficult to overcome. One or two, maybe. But Junior Seau, Sam Madison, Tebucky Jones, those are quality veteran players that the Dolphins are having to go without it. Right now, I think that is showing in this Dolphin defense. This Saint offense really looks solid.
Junior Seau on the sideline, ninth play of the drive. Antoine Smith straight ahead. And Antoine Smith is a very interesting story. As we mentioned, he started his career in Buffalo, then bounced to New England, where he won a world championship with Bill Belichick. Last year he played in Tennessee as a backup, came over here to New Orleans and figured, hey, I'll back up Deuce McAllister, but all of a sudden, McAllister, one of the great running backs in the league, injures his knee, is out for the season, and now Antoine Smith is a featured player.
And that's why he's such a perfect backup, a 9-year veteran. He's been in a lot of systems. He's a quality guy, and he's not going to get you into he's not going to give you any mental mistakes.
Third down and 7. Here's Brooks, short drop, throws in the end zone, incomplete. That one thrown high, and here comes the field goal unit intended for Joe Horn.
Watch as Antoine Smith steps up, picks up the blitz. Lance Schulter's trying to get in the backfield. That's why Antoine Smith is so valuable. Instead of getting a play up into Aaron Brooks, maybe causing a tip ball for an interception, at least you pick up the blitz and give Aaron Brooks a chance for the touchdown.
So that brings on John Carney in to attempt his 467th career field goal. Most by any active kicker in the NFL. This one from 26 yards away. He's 12 of 18 on the season. They get it down, it's up and good. Saints get on the board first. 6:48 to play in the first quarter. New Orleans up 3-zip.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40. Wachovia, wherever you are financially, we're right there with you. And by the new 2006 Ford Explorer, the best Explorer ever.
Welcome back. The Saints go on a 10-play, 57-yard drive covering 5 minutes as Carney kicks the 26-yard field goal to take a 3-0 lead. Wes Welker back deep. Berger, line drive kick. Welker 2 yards deep in his own end zone. Brings it out. And Wes Welker gets to the 25. A flag thrown on the play. It's a 27-yard return. Steve Gleason with the tackle for the Saints.
Holding, number 63, during the return, half the distance to the goal, the first down, timeout.
Alonzo Ephraim called for the hold. And we will step away as Gus Frerotte and the Miami offense takes the field. Nick Saban's pacing the sideline because he knows that his team is 0-4 when the opposing team scores first this season. First down and 10 at the 10-yard line. Ronnie Brown in the backfield. They pitch it to Brown. Cuts it back and goes nowhere. Maybe a half yard. Leading the way, Willie Whitehead. So the Saints, they're road weary this season because of Hurricane Katrina. Every game is a road game. They've set up shop in San Antonio, and Baton Rouge is another home field for them.
Well, we spoke to Jim Haslett during the week, and he said because of all this, most of these players and coaches are still living away from their wives and children, their families. So they've really banded together in the adversity.
Second down and 9 at the 11. Ricky Williams in the game now. They give it to Ricky over the right side, looking for a hole. And Ricky Williams breaks a tackle, lowers his shoulder, and picks up the first down all the way up to the 23, a 12-yard gain. Bullocks with the tackle.
Well, This is the best run Ricky Williams has had since his return to the NFL right here. Breaks one tackle, sticks his head down. This is the Ricky Williams people really expected. He's so strong and so fast. When he unloads and drops that shoulder, there's just no place to grab him and tackle him.
First down and 10 at the 22. Ronnie Brown back in. Play fake. Gus Frerotte with time. Frerotte throwing long. He's got a receiver, and it's caught. David Boston with the big catch at the 25. Dropped it. Flags on the play. This should be a call against the Saints. Fred Thomas scooped it up.
It's still live, Gus. Now there's a whistle.
Now the whistle's blown.
Now there's a whistle.
A 51-yard reception.
This is going to be a really complicated play, Gus, because there was a half-hearted whistle midway through that fumble recovery, and once an official toots on the whistle, it doesn't matter. The whole play has to stop.
Mike McKenzie got to him first, but David Boston, if this stands, a huge play for the Dolphins.
David Boston inactive a week ago for the Dolphins in the Chiefs game, back in the lineup today. You see there, like I said, Gus, I told you it was going to be a complicated play. It's going to come down to when the whistle was blown. There is 2 flags on the play, and now we have an officials meeting, and this may go on for quite some time because there's so many things that are involved.
You're right, a lot going on.
The play came out while the tackle was being made, so I think there was an inadvertent face mask coming on David Boston's tackle. You see there, that's McKenzie, and you see there, you can't grab anything that's a face mask right there, no question. It comes down, Boston trying to fight for it, and then of course Thomas comes over and knocks the ball loose. So all kinds of things going on this play.
And I'm sure that David's father, Byron, will be looking at this play sometime this week. Byron has been a line judge in the NFL for the last 10 seasons. His son, a great player out of The Ohio State University, has had some trouble in the NFL, but feels that he is ready to return to form. He returns this season after missing all of last year with a knee injury.
And this may be one of the few plays that's this complicated they may not need replay for.
Personal foul. Face mask. Number 34. In this case, it'll be half the distance to the goal. Miami retains the ball. First down.
Now that's the problem right there, and Jim Haslett's not going to be happy about that, because I think the whistle blew. The whistle blew during the play, so the ball might have been loose, and it goes back to the team that had possession. And there's the throw by Frerotte. Great throw, leads him to the wide side of the field away from the defender. And this is the penalty we saw right there. Ball comes out, and then somewhere in this sequence, a half-hearted whistle gets blown. But since the ball was loose, it goes back to the team with retained possession. And it'll be interesting to see if Jim Haslett can plead his case. Perhaps he can say that you can make a case that the New Orleans defender who just jumped on it could have gotten the ball for the Saints. And if the whistle came after that, it would be a Saints ball.
Tom White sorting it out, but how about David Boston? As I mentioned, he has struggled at times this season with some off-the-field issues, but remember, he is a great receiver when healthy. Back in 2001, he put together the most productive season of his career as he amassed 98 receptions for over 1,500 yards, had 8 touchdowns as a member of the Arizona Cardinals.
He is one of the most physical receivers in the league, Gus.
So the Dolphins have it first down and 10 at the 12. Officially a 54-yard reception. Ronnie Brown, and Brown maybe a yard. Cedric Hodge, in his 5th season out of North Carolina, makes the tackle. So the Dolphins inside the red zone this season, 16 trips, 7 touchdowns, 6 field goals.
And you see there, that's not where you want to be as an offense. You want to be able to score a lot of percentages, but you want touchdowns, not field goals.
Ricky Williams back in. Ronnie Brown also in. They give it to Ricky straight ahead, and Ricky with the short, choppy steps running extremely well today picks up 4. And remember, back during the 1999 through 2001 season, Ricky was a member of the New Orleans Saints, drafted by Mike Ditka, and he rushed for over 3,100 yards and 18 touchdowns during his time as a Saint.
You see there the numbers today much better, and we knew it would take him a little bit to get on track, Gus, but sooner or later it would click for him.
3rd down 4 at the 6. Randy McMichael, the motion man. Farrat looking underneath, tipped and picked off. Dwight Smith up the sideline, and he's tackled by his teammate, loses the ball. Let's see. Let's see. Will Miami get it back? Yes. The Dolphins catch a huge break.
And here's what happens when he went down, Gus, the ground, it looked like caused the fumble, but because he was not touched by a Dolphin, he's not down. So the ball can come loose because of the drop to the ground. And that'll be 1st down Miami going the other way. You see, Farrat's pass gets tipped right there. That's Randy McMichael who gets a hand on it, and then of course Smith runs up the sideline. He gets tripped up by his own guy. That's Fred Thomas, and the ball pops loose. That's a live ball because that's not a fumble because he was not tackled by an opponent.
So the Dolphins, instead of having it at the 6-yard line, they have it at the 29. 1st down. Ricky Williams over the left side, knocked backwards. Charles Grant with the tackle as Ricky gets to the 32. Ricky Williams, before his retirement, one of the great running backs in the NFL with the Miami Dolphins. 3,225 rushing yards, 27 touchdowns. This season with Miami, different story. Coming into this game, 11 carries, 7 yards, no TDs. But he's running well today. Here's Ricky. Turns the corner, lowers his shoulder, and gets to the 25. How about the block by Rex Hadnot, the right guard? Watch number 66. It's a gain of 4.
This is it. You see him right in front. I'll tell you, Gus, it's easy to forget Ricky Williams was a part of the Saints organization because so much has happened since he left. But every time he touches the football in this stadium, he's hearing it from these New Orleans fans. They remember.
Williams, 4 carries, 19 yards. 3rd and 7 at the 26. They need to go to the 19 for a 1st down. Farrat out of the gun. Over the middle, and it's caught. Welker with the reception. Wrapped up by Fred Thomas. He's close. Let's see where they mark the football.
It looks as though he's going to get this. The Saints are really bringing a lot of pressure on Gus Farrat. He's managing to hang in the pocket and get rid of the football, but I think the pressure was one reason he had the pick earlier in this drive that was subsequently fumbled back to the Dolphins. He's really got guys around him every play, even though he's being able to deliver the football.
And Wes Welker is turning into a triple threat. Not only is he dynamic on special teams, punt returns, and kick returns, he's turning into a very solid slot receiver. That was his 14th catch of the season, and he's averaging close to 19 yards per reception, 18.7 to be exact. Here's a man that was cut by Marty Schottenheimer his rookie season and somehow managed to hook up with the Dolphins, and he has become one of the pillars on this team now. 1st and 10 at the 19. Ronnie Brown following his blocks, and he pushes the pile forward and gets to the 15. It's a gain of 4. Tomorrow on Dave, don't miss Woody Harrelson. Plus, Late Show Halloween fun, and later this week, Dave's All New with Bruce Willis and Billy Crystal. The Late Show with David Letterman. All this week on CBS, America's most watched network. Nick Saban has to be pleased with the way his offense is moving the ball down the field.
Yeah, they're doing it the old-fashioned way, Gus. They're earning those yards on the ground, using the pass to set up the run.
Chris Chambers, the receiver at the bottom of your screen. They give it to Ricky Williams, and he is ambushed. Ricky met by Tony Bryant, and he will lose 3 yards on the play.
You see here, watch as he steps in. He's going to drop in right behind his center, Seth McKinney, who just misses on the block going the outside. That Saint defense really keying on the running backs here. They know that Miami is going to use that run game a lot. And on that play, they didn't expect pass at all. They really jumped in the run game.
Makes it 3rd down and 10 at the 19. They need to go to the 9 for a first down. Sammy Morris in the game now. In the backfield with Gus Farrat. Gus steps up and throws this one up and just overthrows Welker. Welker broke open, and that's been the problem with Gus Farrat. He's had a number of wide open receivers this season and just hasn't been able to put it on them.
You're watching right here. Welker comes open, but it's just too late. Farrat's too late on the throw. Welker, comes down with this, but you can see there he's got no shot at catching it. He can't hang on to it as well as he bangs into the fence off the end of the field. That was when you bang into the fence, Gus, the pass is too long.
Olindo Mare comes in. This one down, up, and we are tied at 3. 37-yard field goal by Olindo Mare, and Coach Saban wishes he could have gotten 7, should have gotten 7 on this play, but he'll settle for 3.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Dymo Label Writer 400 Turbo. With Dymo, the easier, the better. And by Bud Light, smooth and refreshing. Bud Light, great taste for your great times.
Earlier this week, Hurricane Wilma hit South Florida hard. This week, the Dolphins have been forced to balance their concerns about the safety of their families and their work responsibilities. It's been even worse for the Saints. Hurricane Katrina has had a devastating effect on the entire Gulf Coast. However, the Saints organization has shown its dedication to the rebuilding process in New Orleans by raising money, visiting shelters, and gallantly taking the field in what amounts to a 16-game road season. The Saints, although they are 2-5, continue to play hard to give their fans some temporary peace on Sundays. Tie game here in Baton Rouge. Different story offensively for the Dolphins in the first quarter. 27 total yards against Kansas City, 113 today in the first quarter against the Saints. Aaron Brooks and the Saints take over at their own 20-yard line. Aaron Stecker in the backfield. Play fake. Brooks sets up, looks backside, throws a rocket to Joe Horn, who has it at the 36. Beautiful toss. Kawaki Thomas with the tackle, but it's a gain of 16.
Well, the one thing Aaron Brooks gives you, Gus, is the ability to hit a small hole in the defense. You see here, when this ball's released, the defense, even though they see the pass and try and break on it, they don't have enough time to get there and make a play. Aaron Brooks and the velocity he puts on the ball takes that ability away from them.
That takes us to the end of the first quarter with the score 3 apiece. We'll return to Tiger Stadium after these messages. You're watching the National Football League on CBS. Three apiece as we begin the second quarter here in Baton Rouge. Gus Johnson along with Steve Tasker. And the Saints are making their first regular season appearance here in the state of Louisiana in the wake of Hurricane Katrina. This is their first regular season game held at LSU's storied Tiger Stadium. Stecker running the football, and he's going down. The Saints have played 2 preseason games at Tiger Stadium back during the 1967 and 68 seasons against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Great place to watch a college football game. Even better to watch a professional football game. They've had to bring the numbers in for the pro game. Second down and 9 at the 37 for Aaron Brooks. Stecker outside. Nice cut, and Stecker dives forward. Picks up 8 yards on the play, close to the first down. We'll see. He's tripped up by Kawaki Thomas.
And you watch here, Gus, once again, a running back who can break a tackle is really a bonus. Watch here as he comes in, going to break the tackle of Kawaki Thomas, gets his foot down, gets the hand. And I tell you, Gus, great defenses don't miss tackles, and that's one thing that the Dolphins historically have not done. But today, Aaron Stecker, Antoine Smith, and the Saints are getting extra yards after guys just can't bring them down.
So they'll measure for the first down. Stecker and Smith have been a tandem in the backfield, with Deuce McAllister lost for the season with that ACL injury. Stecker comes into this game 30 carries, 118 yards, so he's averaging close to 4 yards per carry, and he's a couple of inches short of the first down.
Jim Haslett said actually he's been not too displeased with the running game since Deuce McAllister left the lineup. With
Deuce Staley left too for Pittsburgh.
They're all out. The Deuces are wild.
The Deuces are gone.
But with Stecker and Smith in the lineup, they've run the ball pretty effectively. And you get a sense from this Saints team, even though they're 2-5, they are really looking forward to the rest of their season.
Lost a controversial game on a controversial play last week against St. Louis.
Far be it from me to get on the officials, but the Saints have gotten the wrong end of the deal.
Let's not say we did. Makes it 3rd down and inches at the 45. Inside handoff. I don't know. This is Carney. I don't think he got it.
He didn't
Jason
get it.
Taylor leading the way. And it's a loss of 1. So New Orleans will have to punt it away.
And this is disheartening for an offense. All you need is 2 inches, and bang, right there. Keith Traylor gets right into the backfield, and Carney has nowhere to run. You can't even get 2 inches. Traylor with a great jump submarines the offensive line and stones the play for a loss of 1.
Brings on Mitch Berger, standing at the 30. He's down 15 punts inside the 20 this season, as long as 56 yards. And Wes Welker is the deep man at the 10. Berger, this one beautiful, driving, spiraling punt, and it takes a bounce. Gets into the end zone. A 55-yard punt, but a net of only 35. And coming up, Gus Frerotte, and the Dolphins will have it at the 20. Game tied at 3, 12 minutes and 52 seconds remaining. In the second quarter, Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker in Baton Rouge, college atmosphere for a professional football game. Gus Frerotte leading the Dolphins out of the huddle. 1st and 10 at the 20. Frerotte 4 of 7 for 80 yards. Throws this one to Welker, and Welker turns the corner, gets out of bounds at the, let's say, 28. Ushered out of bounds by Fakir Brown. Log on to NFL.com as Shannon Sharp talks about not letting teams hang around all game. When they're down, you have to put them away, he says. Unlike last week when Dallas, Denver, San Diego, and Green Bay all lost games they should have won. Read more on NFL.com or NFL on AOL. Here's Gus Frerotte. Handing it off to Ricky Williams with the running lane. Williams lowers his shoulder and gets out of bounds at the 35. Ricky Williams with the gain of 8. Nick Saban today marks the return of Nick Saban to Tiger Stadium for the first time since leaving LSU to coach the Miami Dolphins. Saban coached in Baton Rouge for 5 years, a run that was highlighted by a Sugar Bowl win and 13-1 record in the Tigers' national championship season of 2003. And when we talked to him, he didn't want to talk about coming back at all. His focus, hey guys, we got to win a football game. Me going back to Baton Rouge means nothing right now for the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, this game outweighs his personal relationship with Baton Rouge and the LSU Tigers. I mean, the reason he had to leave Baton Rouge was because he's a great football coach, and there's always a football team that wants you to be their coach. I mean, he's won everywhere he's been, and I'll tell you what, the teams around the National Football League, if you're going to beat the Dolphins, you better do it this year, because they're going to be hard to come by in years to come.
Ironically, he led the Dolphins onto the field here in his old home stadium, and they booed him. Randy McMichael with the catch out of the backfield. Dragged down at the 42 by Dwight Smith. It's a gain of 5. So Nick Saban
And he did. Gus, you're right. He downplayed it completely when we spoke to him about coming back here. But you know, coming down, getting into the visitors' locker room in this stadium had to feel just a little bit funny.
And he's in the visitors' locker room for this game, and the only time he's ever spent time in the visitors' locker room was during the purple and gold game during spring football, when they split up the teams underneath. And this time, a nice catch by Marty Booker. Gains 12 yards on the play. Fakir Brown brings him down. Gus Frerotte starting to find his rhythm a little bit, throwing the football.
Yeah, and you get the idea that this offense, as you can see, Gus Frerotte, short passes, little run game mixed in. It's one of those offenses, Gus, that really you don't get the feeling it's capable of a big play. So they kind of have to nickel and dime this team down the football field and execute perfectly. That's difficult to do.
Ronnie Brown. And Brown spinning, stacked up by Darren Howard. Ronnie Brown has had a very solid rookie season. As a matter of fact, he ran for 132 yards against Carolina, week 3, 4th most in a single game by a Dolphin rookie. And let's take a look at Ronnie Brown and the most yards per rush this season.
That's a big number. That is a big number.
2nd and 6. Here's the reverse. Chambers. Great defense by New Orleans. They string out the play, and Chambers goes out of bounds, driven out by Dwight Smith, and it's only a 1-yard gain.
And this goes back to what we were just talking about, this team not being able to kind of hit you for the big play. They give the reverses and the small short passes, and that's why it's so frustrating for the Dolphins. When you run an offense like that, where it's so dependent on executing perfectly, you always leave the field when you're not successful blaming yourself.
Third down and 5. Frerotte to the sideline. Caught. Ronnie Brown out of the backfield. Picks up the first down. 9-yard pickup. McKinnon pushing Brown out of bounds.
Very methodical as this offense takes shape. Ronnie Brown seeing head out to the right. Frerotte smartly keeps his eyes down the football field to keep the deep safety's eyes off of Ronnie Brown, and just he knows he's there. He knows when he's got to get rid of it. He does that very quickly, only looking at the last minute.
Ricky Williams comes back in. Here's Ricky with the blocker in front of him. Stopping, starting, picking up positive yards. Jonathan Sullivan with the tackle, but Ricky Williams is running low and hard, picks up 5 yards.
Now, he looks like a different back than he did 2 weeks ago. In week 1 and 2 of his return, he really looked tentative. He didn't, he didn't look sure of himself. Today, you can tell the shoulders are down, the head is down, and he is bringing it.
Remember, Ricky missed the first 4 games because he was suspended by the league for violating the substance abuse policy. And finally coming back, he's played 2 games. This is his 3rd. He looks like he has his legs under him. 8 carries, 31 yards. Ricky again. And Ricky picking up his numbers now, swept down by Ron McKinnon. And when you look at the history of Ricky Williams, you have to acknowledge his talent. Remember, back in 2002, rushed for over 1,800 yards as a member of the Dolphins, and he is on the list for most single-season rushing yards. Ricky Williams remains in the game. They give it to him again, and he is tackled after picking up about 3 on the play. Darren Howard with the stop.
You know, Gus, you and I spoke to Nick Saban. He said, idealistically, we'd like to have Ricky Williams carry the ball 15 times and Ronnie Brown carry the ball 15 times. And it looks like they're on their way to doing that. I'll tell you, if this offense takes off with 2 quality running backs like this, it's going to be a monster.
2nd down, 8 at the 18. Williams now lines up on the end position. Ball thrown for Brown. And it's incomplete. Dwight Smith covering. But when you look at the Dolphins long term, you can't have 2 running backs like this play regularly, can you?
Well, it hasn't been done because when you have two great running backs in there, both of them are best at running the football. If you hand the ball to one, you're asking the other to do something they don't do very well, and that's block. So each of these guys, you know, if they're going to be in the game, it's probably going to be by themselves. But by the same token, Gus, you get a fresh running back in the fourth quarter, it can make a difference.
3rd down and 8 at the 18. They need to go to the 10 for first down. Dolphins, 13th play of the drive that started at their own 20. Here's Farrat. And this one is incomplete.
That ball was almost picked off by Darren Howard after it was batted down. Watch, here's Farrat's going to let this ball go, and it gets caught up in the traffic. You see there it bounces, and then it still hasn't hit the ground. Finally, smartly, Damian McIntosh slaps that thing to the ground and gives the Dolphins a chance to get a field goal.
Farrat had a couple of passes batted down last Friday against Kansas City. 36-yard field goal attempt by Murray, and it's good. So with 7:18 to play in the second quarter, the Dolphins take a 3-point lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the new Sprint. Sprint, yes you can. DirecTV. Get the DirecTV DVR and record your favorite shows with the touch of a button. And by the 244 horsepower Pilot, built by Honda.
Really nice crowd in attendance for this game here in Baton Rouge, and they love their Saints. They want to keep them in the state of Louisiana. There's been a lot of talk about the Saints possibly moving to San Antonio next year.
It's absolutely amazing the things that Hurricane Katrina changed in this state, not just infrastructurally, but businesses and the citizens, the people. Everybody's been affected by it, and not very many of them in a positive way.
Aaron Stecker from the goal line. Stecker with the running lane, and he gets to the 25. Dropped by Derek Pope, a 26-yard return. And here comes Aaron Brooks, down by 3. We're having fun in Baton Rouge as the NFL makes its first appearance here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. A lot of fans excited about watching this one, and a really, really terrific crowd. 79,000 can fit in here for professional football. And we've got at least 60. Here's Antoine Smith running straight ahead. Just in time for Halloween, CBS unleashes the world premiere movie Vampire Bats. CYUSA Today says it bites with a gruesome flair. Tonight on CBS, America's most watched network. I can't watch that stuff.
I hate bats.
I get scared.
I hate bats.
Vampire bats, shark attacks, everything happening on CBS.
It's that time of year, man.
2nd down and 8 at the 27. Play fake, Brooks. And Brooks staying on his feet. And he is sacked. Great pursuit by Keith Traylor and Jeff Scanina.
And that's the one where Brooks looks like he's going to get away. I'm surprised that Tom White didn't call him down after the first time he goes down. You see there's Scanina touches him, and then he goes down. He was not called down right there. He lost another couple of yards there as the pursuit continues to catch up to him, and that's one thing the Dolphins are going to have to do a better job of, Gus, pressuring Aaron Brooks. To this point, he's really gunned the ball out of the pocket, and the Dolphins have not been in his face at all.
A loss of 12 on the play. 3rd down and 20 at the 15. They need to go to the 35 for a first down. Brooks dumps it off to Stecker on the screen, and he gets drilled. Nice defense by the Dolphins. A 2-yard loss. Reggie Howard, first man to him for Miami.
And Gus, after that play, for the first time in the game, even though the Dolphins have a 6-3 lead, now they've got momentum. The Saints came out early in this game and really dominated the emotion of the first quarter. They got the first score of the game, and the Dolphins, even though they scored 2 field goals, seem to be just hanging on, and now they've fully turned the tide in their own favor.
Saints punted away. Berger to Welker. with the fair catch at the 34, a 53-yard punt. 6-3 Miami with the lead and the football.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by IBM. Become an on-demand business. IBM can help. And by the Acura MDX with electronic four-wheel drive.
Now, Steve, that looks like a game you'd be really, really good at.
I played rugby
in the scrum.
I played rugby in the Big Ten, man.
Now, don't forget, tonight on CBS, see why New York Magazine calls Cold Case TV's best cop show. Don't miss the hit drama Cold Case tonight on CBS, America's most watched network. First down and 10 at the 34 for the Dolphins, leading it 6-3. Great crowd here at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. Ricky Williams in the backfield with Ronnie Brown. Here's Gus Frerotte, finds Brown out of the backfield, and he's gobbled up by Cedric Hodge. And during the beginning of the game, we talked about how Cedric Hodge is a sideline-to-sideline linebacker, 6'4", 246, but he can really run.
Yeah, he's also indicative of this defense. You talk about him. All three linebackers, Colby Buckwald, Courtney Watson, Cedric Hodge, they were all drafted by the Saints. They've kind of gotten a chance to grow up together, and everything they've been through with Hurricane Katrina has really begun to make this club something more than what it was.
2nd and 8 at the 36. Ronnie Brown dragged down in the backfield. Jonathan Sullivan, third-year man out of Georgia, with the tackle. No gain on the play.
As you talk about what's happened with the Saints, now the Dolphins can relate to that. We spoke to Jason Taylor during the week after Hurricane Wilma whipped through South Florida. You know, everybody is, the smart people are hunkered down, getting it over. Jason Taylor said his sons couldn't believe they were cheering when the trees were getting blown down. They thought it was great. All this watching everything get blown over and destroyed.
3rd down, 8 at the 36. They need to go to the 44 for a first down. They hand it off to Ricky Williams, and Ricky will not get it. He gets to the 40. Charles Grant with the tackle, a 5-yard gain. Questionable play calling there on 3rd down and 8, and they run a draw. So Miami will have to punt it away.
I'll tell you what, the first 2 weeks Ricky Williams was back, they wouldn't dream of making that call. But today, maybe you give him a shot to make that run. He's really played well thus far today, and maybe that's a sign of what their kind of offensive philosophy is going to be with the 2 running backs.
Brings on Donnie Jones. Dante Stallworth is standing at the 14. Jones, a left-footed punter, gets away a beauty, a driving punt that takes a bounce and gets into the end zone. So New Orleans will have it at the 20, a 59-yard punt, a 39-yard net. Nick Saban watching. Let's take a look at the heroes from this Sunday. Jake Delhomme.
Carolina winning big over Minnesota is a good day for that guy.
He's a Louisiana native. Carson Palmer against Green Bay.
He continues to amaze me. I mean, this guy has really emerged as a great quarterback in the league, and he continues it this weekend.
Cincinnati bouncing back from that loss last week. And how about the New York Giants? The Giants, led by Tiki Barber, destroying Joe Gibbs and the Washington Redskins. How about Eli Manning last week? The comeback against Denver. He's really maturing, and I'm sure people in the state of Louisiana are familiar with the Manning brothers. Newman High School in New Orleans. Play fake. Aaron Brooks fires down the seam. Joe Hart. Oh, what a catch at midfield. That's a Pro Bowler. Joe Hart goes up and didn't know when he was coming down. A gain of 30.
Absolutely a sensational play by the New Orleans Saints. Watch this throw go in, and this is Travaris Tillman taking him apart at the catch. And that's a clean play on both sides and a sensational play by Joe Horn. That's why they need him in the lineup.
Joe Horn, 3 catches for 58 yards. Aaron Brooks continues to excel in terms of completing passes over 25 yards. He's sacked this time, though, by Vonnie Holliday. Let's go back to some of the heroes from this Sunday. Once again,
what an enormous day. 200 yards rushing on 25 carries. Wow.
I have him on my fantasy team.
I wish I did.
Steven Jackson.
I've got Steven Jackson on mine.
St. Louis defeats the Jaguars.
Saw a great interview today with Mike Martz, the St. Louis Rams, on the NFL Today.
Steve Smith, Carolina, big receiving day. 11 catches, over 200 yards and a touchdown.
Anytime you see any individual statistic that starts with a 2 on a 200, that's something special. Jerry Porter for the Raiders coming out of their slump. 2 wins in a row for the Oakland Raiders.
Coach Haslett looking to snap a 3-game losing streak. Nick Saban as well. But the Saints over their last 2 games have been very competitive, losing 28-17 to St. Louis and 34-31 to Atlanta. Underneath, ball caught. Dante Stallworth, head of steam, and he's tackled by Zach Thomas, but he picks up 12 on the play.
And that's one way to beat pressure. Aaron Brooks has been sacked a couple of times here in the second quarter. Just don't even let him drop back. Just let him drop back. Zip the ball out of there before the defenders can get in it.
Takes us to the 2-minute warning with the score: Miami 6, New Orleans 3, but the Saints are driving. Nick Saban with fans.
I think that's a positive sign. I'm not really sure. Is that?
I remember taking French in 9th grade. Say is it's good. 3rd down and 6 at the 46. Saints over 3 on 3rd down conversions. Flag on the play. Brooks in trouble again. Reverses his field and is dragged down. Beautifully done by Jeremiah Bell. And that is the 3rd sack of the day, but hold on, let's see.
That's a 25-yard loss, Gus, if it stands.
Aaron Brooks lost his shoe.
Illegal formation. Number 70 offense is down on the line of scrimmage. Currently is declined. 4th down.
That's Jamal Brown, the right tackle, a rookie out of Oklahoma.
So many times you get a guy who has so much confidence in his ability to run, he just thinks he can get out of all that trouble. And you kind of forget that, hey, the other guys are on scholarship too. They can run.
18 sacks on the season now for the Dolphins. A loss of 26 yards. Berger, end over end kick. It's short. And Welker fields it at the 40. A 32-yard punt.
After a 25-yard loss on 3rd down, Gus, that's one thing that, you know, special teams is all about field position, but when you take a loss like you did, that hurts.
Coming up on the Sprint halftime report, join Greg, Dan, Shannon, and the Boom for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Sprint halftime report. Miami starting at the 40. 1st down. Farad to the sideline, and he throws a BB. Beautiful throw. Chambers with the catch in front of Mike McKenzie.
You know, a moment ago, Gus, I said that, you know, you take a loss like -25, it really hurts. And the reason I say that is because it carries over into the next few series. Now, here inside the 2-minute warning, it's not such a big deal, except the fact that it gives the Dolphins a chance to add to their lead.
Chambers, the leading receiver on this Dolphins squad. That's his first catch of the day. Ronnie Brown making people miss. Brown hopping through the hole and gets inside the 40. Courtney Watson stops him, but it's a gain of 13.
Look, and that's what this is all about, Gus. That bad punt, the bad loss the Saints took has really put them in a tough spot here in the last moments of the 1st half.
1st down at the New Orleans 38. Farad over the middle. Chambers trying to get outside and is tackled at the 32 by Freddie Thomas, but he picks up 6.
And already the Dolphins are in field goal range with 43 seconds left in the 1st.
Dolphins call a timeout. They have 2 remaining.
On these streets, violence begets more violence. There is a code of silence.
This place, this life, is this it for us?
On November 9th,
we're gonna do what we gotta do.
One man will dare to speak the truth.
This song's about you.
No, Marcus, do apologize.
Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. Get rich or die trying.
I'd rather die like a man than live like a cow.
Rated R. Wednesday, November 9th, only in theaters.
Thursday on CBS, now that the tribes have merged, can former NFL quarterback Gary Hogeboom still keep his true identity a secret? See why Survivor is TV's #1 reality show Thursday on CBS. Barat rolling out of the pocket, throws on the run to Welker. Oh, wow! Woo. Steve, once upon a time, a couple of weeks ago, you told me that when you are tackled in the NFL, they literally try to drive their body through your body. Well, watch this hit. Mike McKenzie. Wow.
And I'll tell you, if Mike McKenzie could have thrown him further out of bounds, he would have. I mean, you cannot hit him any harder than that.
3rd down and 1 at the 29. Welker pops to his feet. Ronnie Brown. But tell me again, Steve, we were talking a couple of weeks ago over lunch, and you told me that when you're tackled in the NFL, how do you guys try to tackle a person?
As hard as you possibly can. If they were threatening your family, you still couldn't hit them any harder. I mean, that's the way it's got to be. You've got it turned all the way up, Gus, all the time.
Mike McKenzie had it turned up, but right now the Dolphins are threatening. Look how tough these guys are. This is Seth McKinney, the starting center. He's playing with a shin laceration, and also he's got blood around the neck. He looks like Michael Myers.
This is a rough
as
game.
Halloween approaches. 1st down and 10 at the 27. Here's Gus Barat. Over the middle. Oh! Randy McMichael couldn't make the grab, but he gave a tremendous effort. And Gus Barat has to throw this football better.
Right here, you see him, Mike, right up in your screen. He never leaves and tries to pull it down off his helmet, off his face mask. You thought he was going to bring it in twice, and he just couldn't do it. You love to have your guy make a play like that, but when it all is said and done, Gus, you need a better throw.
Brings up 2nd down and 10 at the 27. Welker in the slot at the bottom of your screen. They throw it to McMichael. He breaks a tackle. And the former Georgia Bulldog picks up 4. McKenzie again with the stop. This Mike McKenzie is a terrific tackler. Remember, McKenzie was acquired in a trade with Green Bay last year. He started 10 of the final 11 games, had 5 interceptions.
And now Miami will take a timeout with about 1 second left on the clock, actually 2, and they're going to try one last field goal in the 1st half.
And Mike McKenzie is hurt.
See, there's Mike McKenzie. You see him get up, and his right arm is just not what it should be. He's smiling. And he's the guy that hit Wes Welker just a moment ago. You see him working up on his shoulder. It's amazing what these guys go through, Gus, and still continue to put great plays on the field.
So Olindo Mare is back on the field with 2 seconds remaining in the 1st half.
And the Saints take a timeout to freeze the kicker.
Mare good today from 37 and 36 yards. He's ready to attempt a 42-yarder when we come back.
Listen up. This is Darren. He's the newest member of the league.
Whoa, hold up. What can he do?
Can he fly?
No.
You got superhuman strength, though, right?
Come on, man. You got to be able to do something. Levitate, go through walls, stop.
I can do one thing.
Well, let's see it.
Dang!
You can room with me.
Hey.
Visit CBS Sportsline tonight for a complete wrap-up of all of the day's action. Get in-depth analysis, plus watch video highlights and an exclusive post-game show only on CBS Sportsline. Olindo Mare perfect thus far. 37-36. This from 42 yards away. Right down Main Street. And Miami takes a 9-3 lead as they head into the locker room for halftime. We'll be back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the National Football League on CBS. Halftime in Baton Rouge. Dolphins up by 6. We'll return to Tiger Stadium after these messages and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Dolphins leading on the road 9-3. Gus Johnson along with Steve Tasker. This has been a very competitive and hard-hitting football game, and both teams have been able to move the football. They just haven't been able to punch it in.
That's right, and I think both teams will go into the locker room kind of blaming themselves for things that went good and right for one team, wrong for the other. He starts out right with the highlights. Gus Frerotte going deep down the field trying to find David Boston, and indeed he does. The Saints haven't got really bat this ball away, but this ends up going in favor of the Dolphins as this ball's popped loose. The official inadvertently blows the ball dead. Saints come up with the big play, but it costs them. And here, the Dolphins, McMichael tips this ball up. Smith grabs it, goes down, fumbles it back to the Dolphins. So the Saints really can look at themselves and say, man, we should be better off than we are. It's a good thing we're only down 6, and that's been the story of the first half, Gus. Opportunities missed and opportunities taken advantage of by the Dolphins, although neither team has put it in the end zone. That's going to change here in the second half.
Saints have the ball to start the second half as Olindo Mare prepares to send it away. Aaron Stecker is back deep for New Orleans. They love their Saints even in Baton Rouge.
Yes, they do. You mentioned, Gus, it really is a college-type atmosphere here. I mean, really a lively crowd. They're cheering really for both teams and against both teams. It seems like it's really, this crowd is way into this game, and I think it's a pleasant surprise for the Saints to have this kind of turnout.
So here we go to start the second half. Stecker brings it out of the end zone. Flag on the play. Stecker crosses the 25. It's a 29-yard return. Jason Glenn with the tackle on special teams for the Dolphins.
Always a slow start when you start it with a special teams play and the flag comes out. Almost always it's on the return team. Umpire and the field judge having a conversation as Tom White listens in.
They're picking up the flag. There's no offensive holding in this play. First down.
All right, let's take a look at the fantasy notebook. And we start with passing. Gus Frerotte, 139 yards passing, 1 interception, but no touchdowns. Rushing, Ricky Williams doing a very solid job, his best game thus far. And Joe Horn with a big first half receiving for New Orleans. First down and 10 at the 26. Aaron Brooks sidestepping, decides to run it. Nice move, and he gets to the 33 before being stopped by Vonnie Holliday. And that's a 6-yard gain.
And the Saints got off to a pretty quick start early in the first half, and then the Dolphins started to find a way to get to Aaron Brooks. He's had to dodge people in the pocket late in the first half, and here in the second as it begins, the Dolphins are finding a way to make him uncomfortable in the pocket. That's been the difference for the Saints in their fast start and then the way they've kind of tapered off in the first half.
2nd and 4 at the 32. Antoine Smith, the lone setback. Horn in motion. They look for Horn. He catches it and goes out of bounds at the 37 in front of Travis Daniels. It's a 6-yard gain and a first down. What do you call this play, Steve?
This is just it's a flat route. It's kind of an arrow where Horn just takes it, runs to the sideline, looks over his outside shoulder, and it's so hard to defend. If they're going to get anything on it, Daniels would have had to jump it right away. And it's so difficult to do as a defensive back because you're worried about giving up the deep ball. They just throw the short one before you can react.
Horn, 4 catches, 64 yards. Remember, he's been inactive for 3 weeks and missed most of 4 weeks. Did play a little bit against Atlanta a couple of weeks ago, but did not record a catch. as the Saints run the football. And I thought it was interesting when we talked last week, and you were telling me about how professional teams run routes 0 through 9, odds and evens, odds out, ins, right? Evens are in.
Well,
Can you explain that a little bit?
Every offense is different, and some teams will name each route, some teams will number each route. But to keep your offense flexible, the quarterback almost tells every receiver what exactly to run. Instead of having one name for the whole play, they'll tell everybody what to do each play.
Play fake, Brooks throwing on the run. This one caught by Joe Horn, and he is taken down by Channing Crowder, the rookie from Florida, 3rd-round pick.
It's so nice for Aaron Brooks to have Joe Horn back in the line. This guy's a perennial Pro Bowler. And you can tell, you know, he's out for a month, and you miss a guy like that, particularly a guy that your quarterback trusts and likes to throw the football to. It's tough for your quarterback to feel comfortable when he doesn't feel like he has his team around him, and Joe Horn is a big part of that team.
And this team is also without another very good receiver, Azahir Hakeem, who was inactive today because of a rib injury suffered last week against St. Louis. 3rd down and 6 at the 42. Oh, picked off. He threw that one right into the hands of the Dolphin defense. And the interception goes to Reggie Howard, who gobbled it up. 2nd turnover of the day for New Orleans. So the Dolphins pick one off, and they have excellent field position at around the Saints' 40-yard line. Aaron Brooks on the right throws his 10th interception of the season. May not have been his fault, though.
No, Devery Henderson kind of left his quarterback hanging out to dry. He was kind of come on a slant and stopped running his route. He thought it was going to be covered. Aaron Brooks thought he could trust him, threw it out there, threw it right into the arms of the defender because the receiver wasn't there.
So the Dolphins take over at the New Orleans 41. They hand it to Ronnie Brown. And Ronnie Brown gets to the 38.
You watch here a moment ago. These are the two right here at the top of your screen. Watch as the play develops. Henderson comes in and just stops. It looked like he was going to go back to the sideline. Brooks had no idea he was going to do that. Watch Aaron Brooks. He knows. See, he's mad. That's a pick that's going to go against his quarterback rating and all that. His team has to come off the field because he got hung out to dry by his receiver.
2nd down and 8 at the 39. Welker in motion. Gus Farad to the sideline, incomplete. But the good sign for the Dolphins, New Orleans opponents have scored on 10 straight drives after a turnover. 8 touchdowns, 2 field goals, including a field goal today.
Well, turnovers are the thing, the one thing that teams will tell you is the biggest difference between winning and losing. If you turn it over, you're going to lose. If you can get turnovers from your opponent, you're going to win.
3rd down and 8. They need to go to the 31 for a 1st down. Saints defense needs a stop. Farad lost one up for Welker, overthrows him again. Time in and time out. Gus Farad has wide open receivers and doesn't have the touch to get the ball to them.
Now, just a moment ago, we saw a receiver hurt his quarterback. This is when a receiver feels like he's got it and he can't get out there to get the ball. Just overthrown at the end right there. Comes right back outside on Mike McKenzie. The ball's just too far out there.
And the Dolphins have to punt it away.
As we said in the first half, Gus, this Miami Dolphins offense is predicated on perfect execution. When you come off the field, you point the finger at yourself when it doesn't work.
So Donnie Jones lines up at his own 47. Dante Stallworth is at his own 9. And a flag. Good movement at the bottom of your screen. Looks like Jeremiah Bell may have been moving.
And they decline it.
False start. Number 37, offense, penalty is declined, remains 4th down.
And that's a good decline because it makes it more difficult to put the ball inside the 20. The closer you are, the more difficult it is to punt it softer and softer to keep it out of the end zone.
Jones has been trying to perfect that end-over-end kick. Let's see if he tries it right here. No, this is a spiraling punt.
It's in the end zone.
That goes right into the end zone. A 39-yard punt, a net of 19 yards. So Aaron Brooks will get another chance. Dolphins unable to capitalize on his mistake.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40. McDonald's. And by the United States Army, an army of one.
Welcome back. Saints take over at their own 20. And look at the comparison. Gus Frerotte has thrown for more yards. Neither quarterback throwing a touchdown. First down and 10. Aaron Brooks puts some mustard on that one, and Devery Henderson, the former LSU Tiger, hauls in the football. Travis Daniels with the tackle after a 14-yard gain. Britain's Prince Charles in a rare interview. He's coming to America in a couple of days, but first he's on 60 Minutes after the game, except on the West Coast. Brooks again, short drop this time, dumps it off to Stecker over the middle. Stecker with running room. He gets close to the first down as Channing Crowder sends him to the ground. Now a hurry-up offense being implemented by this New Orleans team after an 11-yard pickup.
It's a good call, I think, by Jim Haslett. It'll add a spark to this Saints offense, get them a little rhythm going.
The handoff, Stecker turns the corner and steps out of bounds at midfield.
You know, I agree with this call by the Saints. I just said it's a great job, great idea to go no huddle because it picks the spirits of your team up. It picks up the tempo. If they look a little flat, a little lackadaisical, or if they're having problems, take the thinking out of it. Just give them a play, tell them to get up there and run it. Now they're going to huddle here because of the clock stoppage, and because that's probably what they want to do. They'll call for the huddle. But I think it's a good idea, Gus, to pick up the tempo.
Offensive coordinator Mike Shepard has called a terrific game. His offense ranked 11th in the NFL, averaging over 300 yards per game. He's had a fine season. Brooks stops, starts, and goes down. Vonnie Holiday right there, a 2-yard pickup.
That's not a bad play for the Saints, guys. I mean, it looks like a kind of a nothing where he dropped back, didn't have anybody throw it. But you know what? You see Mike Shepard there. You're right. He has called a great game. He only had 2 guys in the route that time. So Brooks knows when he drops back, if his guys aren't there right away, he's got to pull it down, gain a couple of yards, give yourself 3rd and short.
And Brooks fumbles the snap. A loss of 3 on the play.
Guys, quarterbacks won't say this, but since I'm a wide receiver, I will. It's always the quarterback's fault. It's always his fault. That offensive lineman puts that, there's only one spot he's going to put it, and it's a spot really close to him, so he knows where the ball's going to be. The quarterback always makes that mistake. It depends on what plays run. They just don't feel like they can get there, and they pull out early.
Mitch Berger at the 35, and he really gets all of this one. Over the head of Wes Welker, and it takes a bounce backwards. Terrific special teams play by the Saints. Berger with a 43-yard punt. Gus Frerotte has to start making some plays. His team is up. 8:58 to play in the 3rd. 9-3, Miami with the lead. 8:58 to play in the 3rd quarter. Dolphins take over at their own 7. Two tight ends in the game for the Dolphins. McMichael in motion. They run it with Ronnie Brown. He spins out of trouble and is dropped at the 9. Ron McKinnon with the tackle, a 2-yard gain. Let's look at Gus Frerotte today.
Well, this has been the story. You see here that just the high throw to McMichael down the middle. He misses it completely on the out route and then overthrows Wes Welker. I mean, that's the story of the day for the Dolphins. You want to know why they haven't scored a touchdown? There's a good reason right there.
Remember, the first half, he missed Welker in the end zone wide open. 2nd down and 8. Here's Farad setting up, looking, and he will run it and get out of bounds. Cedric Hodge pushes him out of bounds after a 5-yard gain. Let's take a look at Gus's numbers over the last 3 weeks. Look at his completion percentage.
That's not good.
Wow.
You can't win. There's just no way to win if you're completing less or about a third of your passes.
And the rating, 37.3 against Kansas City. 3rd down 3 at the 14. They need to go to the 17 for a 1st down. The pitch to Ronnie Brown. He's got the 1st down and more. Brown still on his feet, spins, gets out of bounds at the 32. Fred Thomas there, but it's an 18-yard pickup.
Well, there you have it. I mean, this is what this offense, I think, for the Dolphins is going to be good at. Giving the football to Ronnie Brown, Ricky Williams, and letting them break big plays. I mean, that's a misdirection that busts wide open.
You see the Steelers run that a lot.
Oh, it's a great call. Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator of the Dolphins, knows he's got a big job ahead of him. That's incorporating 2 good backs into one offense.
13 carries, 57 yards for Brown. Quick strike, Chambers. He gets mugged. Mike McKenzie in his kitchen, and it's a loss of 3.
Trying to get the ball to Chambers, and this ball gets out there, and Chambers like, you know what, next time, look how quick this is.
Barat throwing it high.
McMichael's trying to get out there to protect him, and he just can't do it. McKenzie reacts so quickly, he blows the play up before it can even develop, and that was a quick developing play.
2nd down and 13. Ricky Williams in the backfield now. Here's Ricky. Ricky, beautiful run. Ricky Williams, 1st down Miami. And this is the best the Ronnie Brown, Ricky Williams tandem has looked this season.
Well, this is what they hope this offense will look like a little more often than it has. Ricky Williams coming in up to this game, as we said early on. Ricky Williams has looked disinterested and a little bit lackadaisical, like his heart wasn't in it. Not so today. He has really turned it on, and believe me, guys, they want to give the football to these 2 running backs a lot, and today it looks like they're going to get their opportunity.
There's Ronnie. Look at the comparison. Each running back carrying 12 or 13 times for 57 yards. Ricky gains 13 on that play, and now he runs over the right side and is brought down by McKinnon. It's a 1-yard gain.
I mean, look at that. It's 114 yards rushing at that position for the Dolphins. Each guy's got over 10 carries. I mean, that's no coincidence, Gus, that they have the lead in the game. I mean, that's what it allows you to do. These guys are going to be really tough to stop when this Miami team manages to get a lead. They are really going to be able to protect it.
2nd down and 9 at the 43. Williams in motion out of the backfield. Barat. And he goes down. 1st sack of the day for the Saints, as Gus Barat held the ball too long. Nobody in the block for Gus Barat. He had to get rid of that, Steve.
Well, the Saints get a sack with a 4-man rush. That's what the difference is. I'll tell you what, Brian Young just collapses that pocket right back on him. Right there, Brian Young gets around. The whole pocket just collapses, and that's the difference. A 4-man rush, if you can get a sack, you're ahead of the game.
Loss of 9. 3rd down and 18. Farad steps up, has it batted out of his hands. Loose ball. Darren Howard bats it out of his hands.
It's called a fumble.
And New Orleans has a football. 2nd turnover of the day for the Dolphins. But here's the question. Was his arm moving forward?
Tom White's going to say it was a fumble. It was knocked loose. He threw his beanbag down off his belt, which means he thinks it's a fumble. Watch as Farad tries to cock this ball to throw it. Where's his hand? And that's an empty hand, no question, Gus. That's a fumble. Knocked loose by Darren Howard as he comes off. 2 men to block him. Welker and McMichael, they can't get it done. That's what the Saints have needed.
And Nick Saban decides not to challenge the play after watching the Jumbotron and seeing the replay. 1st and 10 at the 29. Miami's defense being tested now. Can the Saints finally deliver? Brooks pivots, breaks contain, squares his shoulders, and the end zone incomplete. And a flag on the play.
It's going to be a hold against New Orleans. Traverse Tillman in the end zone, knocking that pass away. And you said it, Gus, that looked like it was going to be a touchdown.
Number 72, 10-yard penalty, remains first down.
That's the veteran Wayne Gandy, who started his 176th career game today in his 12th year.
He's working there against Vonnie Holiday, and he's got his arm up around his neck. And when they both turn, you see, whenever an offensive lineman holds his hands up like I didn't hold him, you know he was holding him.
So that makes it first down and 20 at the 39. Stallworth splits wide to the top of your screen. Horn is in the slot at the bottom. And Devery Henderson, the receiver, at the bottom. Brooks throws on the run, nobody there. Smart play by Brooks to just dump it out of bounds.
Particularly on first down. Really what the unfortunate thing for the Saints was when Brooks let that go, he had to scramble away from the spot where his receivers were on the, he went to the left, his receivers were all on the right, and he had no one to throw it to. It was a smart play, particularly on first down. You see there, Gus, Miami's got to get it together in the passing game. As you remember, these yardages, and that includes the runs by the quarterback and sacks, or not runs, but sacks. Anytime they attempted to pass, so if you take a loss, that goes against your yardage. So, you know, Miami just hasn't been able to get it together.
Brooks, 10 of 15, 113 yards, 1 pick. 2nd and 20. Draw play. Stecker dives forward and gets close to the original line of scrimmage. Veteran Kevin Carter makes the tackle. He's in his 11th season out of Florida after an 8-yard gain.
Now, 2nd 20, what you'd really like to do is get maybe half of it back, which is exactly what Stecker's able to do. He gets it down to a 3rd and about 11, and that's exactly the kind of thing you want to do. You don't want to try and get a first down on 2nd and 20. Just get it into a 3rd and 10 maybe.
And there's Deuce McAllister on crutches on the sideline, out for the rest of the year after tearing his knee up. 3rd down, 12 at the 31. Brooks under pressure again, and he dumps it out of bounds. Travaris Tillman, the safety, blitzing on the play. Yeah, and that brings up 4th down.
Excuse me, guys. The Dolphins just sent too many people for the Saints to block. They keep in 7. Dolphins rush actually 6. There were 2 guys on 1 off to the left, and Brooks had to roll away from Tillman to get that ball off. Smart play, gives him an opportunity for a long field goal, and yet really this is a game that's been about field goals to this point.
So Carney in to attempt a 49-yard field goal. He's 3 of 7 from 40 to 49 yards out this season. His long on the year, 48. They get it down, it's up, and good! Saints put points on the board. 3:37 to play in the 3rd quarter. We've got a 3-point game.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And by Miller Lite. On your next beer run, grab some great tasting, less filling Miller Lite. Miller, good call.
This crowd is having a good time in Baton Rouge. As we've mentioned, it definitely feels like a college football game. And we've got a good football game. 9-6 Dolphins. John Carney with his 502nd career point for the Saints. Berger sends it away, and this will be Welker starting from the 8. And Welker swarmed at the 26. Nice play on special teams made by Fred McAfee. A 16-yard return. Here comes Ricky. And he's got his motor running today. All right, the last 8 possessions for the Dolphins.
There you go. I think the things that hurt him: interception, fumble. Those are difference makers.
First down and 10, Miami. At their own 26. Ricky Williams in the game at running back. Here's Ricky. Following his blocks, lowers his shoulder and gets to the 31. It's a 5-yard pickup. Which team on the Colts' upcoming schedule is most likely to end their undefeated season? Patriots, Texans, Bengals, Steelers, Titans, Jags. Cast your vote. What do you think, partner?
I think these guys right here.
Really?
And maybe Pittsburgh.
Wow.
I'll tell you, that is a tough group of games right there. And also, the team that's not even on that list that they have to play, San Diego.
The Superchargers beating Kansas City today at home. Farad again. Underneath, incomplete. Randy McMichael, the intended receiver. That one thrown low. Cedric Hodge covering, and that brings up 3rd down and 5.
There you look. That's just a telling statistic. The Saints have made some adjustments that have taken Gus Farad out of the passing game. He's -1 yard in his last 8 attempts. Not a bad first half. He was 13 of 16, but now in his last 8 attempts, he's been unproductive, to say the least.
So here we go. 3rd down, 5. Dolphins are 5 of 12 on 3rd down conversions. They need to go to the 36. Farad, quick strike, incomplete. Ball intended for Lorenzo Diamond, and the Dolphins have to punt it away again. Maybe too much on that one.
Watch here, Diamond. This looks like a better pass, but Diamond trips and falls. You want to talk about a team that's struggling offensively, finally get a shot at a pass play where he's overthrown everybody on the field and then finally puts one in there and the guy trips.
So Donnie Jones stands at the 16. Dante Stallworth at the 24. This one off the side of his foot. And Stallworth misjudges the football. Wow.
Huge mistake.
He misjudged the football, so it becomes a 55-yard punt. Jones catches a break.
Gus, anytime you let the ball drop in the National Football League, it averages 16 yards for your opponents. That ball lands on the 27, goes all the way to the 14.
Next Sunday's doubleheader opens when LaDainian Tomlinson and the Chargers take on Curtis Martin and the Jets, while the Raiders battle the Chiefs, and in the nightcap, Ben Roethlisberger leads the Steelers against Brett Favre and the Packers. The action begins with Greg, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer on the NFL Today. First down and 10 at the 15. Brooks drops the football. So on the last possession, Brooks fumbled the snap. Now he drops back and just allows the ball to slip out of his hands.
He gets the snap, but right here as he grips it, he taps it out of his own hand. And I think what happened was Antoine Smith stepped up. Watch, that's Stecker. Watch, Stecker knocks it out of his hands. He steps up to take on Zach Thomas on the blitz. It looked like Brooks dropped it himself, but it was knocked out of his hands by the blitz pickup.
A loss of 7. 2nd down and 17 at the 8. Here's Brooks passing out of his own end zone, down the field, incomplete. Joe Horn, the intended receiver, and he had a shot at it. Would have been a difficult catch, but he just couldn't bring it in.
I'll tell you what, this is what the Saints have been missing. Joe Horn is a guy that Aaron Brooks, he stares him down, still throws it. Horn turns on it, can't pull it in, but you love to have a guy your quarterback feels this confident in. I mean, he guns this ball in there, hoping Joe Horn can make a play. Joe Horn has done that in this game. But that's what they've missed in the lineup with Joe Horn being out with the hamstring, and now that he's back, they're going to use him.
Joe Horn has 25 career 100-yard receiving games. 3rd down, 17. Brooks again. He's got to get rid of it. Oh, and he's going to take a safety. Aaron Brooks takes a safety. Kevin Carter with the sack. And the Dolphins take an 11-6 lead. The 5th sack of the day for Miami.
Well, Jim Haslett's standing over there saying this is ridiculous. A 3-man rush, and your quarterback takes a safety. You see there he's being chased by Vonnie Holliday, and Kevin Carter runs in and tackles him from behind as he spins out of it. 3-man rush, and you get the safety. That's completely unacceptable. Nothing like that for a defensive lineman. They love that. That's a huge feather in their cap.
So Brooks allowing the safety, and now Miami will get the football. And for Kevin Carter, that's his 90th career sack. He joins Michael Strahan and Simeon Rice as the only active players with at least 90 sacks. Strahan has 123.5. Rice has 110.
We can talk about that as Carter sits there, a guy who really has been a pass rusher his entire career. This guy is a real force on the defensive line. And it's one of those guys you have to account for at every snap. And he proved that to be the case on that last play.
So Berger will punt it. Welker lines up at his own 20. This one a wobbly kick, short. Welker trying to field it, does at the 30, dives forward and gets to the 34. 49-yard punt, but a flag on the play.
Flag back at the 30. It looks like it's almost offsides, which in this day and age in the NFL, they may tack that on to the end of the play. You see Tom White, he's asking the Dolphins sidelines, do you want to take the penalty here or do you want to have him punt it again? Believe me, after that punt, you take the ball.
Now remember, New Orleans gives up the safety, but Dante Stallworth.
Offside, kicking team. Number 37, the 5-yard penalty. Miami has elected to enforce the penalty and re-kick.
The safety is a result of Dante Stallworth misjudging the punt.
You're right. You're exactly right. The punt that dropped on their 27 dropped him back inside their 15, and then a sack ended up costing them 2 points, and now possession of the football as they're going to punt this again from their own 15-yard line. And normally I would agree with this. You usually want to make them kick it twice, because it's as a guy, I chased kicks for a lot of years in the NFL. You run down there as fast as you can, then to have to go back and do it again, you're a little tired, and your return team isn't as tired as you are because they don't have to run as far. So it's a real opportunity. A lot of long kick returns come on a re-kick because the coverage team is tired.
And if there's anybody that can come up with a long kick return, it's Welker. This young man is sensational in his second season out of Texas Tech. Berger, end over end kick. Welker from the 32. Welker looking and is tripped up, gets to midfield. A 53-yard punt and 18-yard return. Well, now let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York for an NFL update.
Gus and Steve, thank you. In San Diego, Kansas City, and Trent Green trying to come back against the Chargers. 16 yards on the money to Tony Gonzalez with the extra point. The Chargers lead is now 21-10, 6:38 to play, third quarter, guys.
So Kansas City doing a nice job last week at Miami, winning at 30-20. Now they're trying to come back at San Diego as you take a look at the AFC West. 1st and 10 at the 49. Play fake, Gus Frerotte over the middle. Caught. He finally dropped one into Marty Booker. Beautiful timing. Frerotte waiting for him to break across the field. Gain of 20.
You're right, Gus, and this is one of the things he has struggled with today. Standing in there as you see Brian Young running right at his face, throws it right over the top of Cedric Hodge. Booker able to pull that in. One of the most accurate passes Frerotte has thrown all day.
As you take a look at the pass distribution, wide receivers catching 10. 1st and 10. Ricky Williams. Ricky with the hole. Ricky with acceleration. And Ricky Williams gets to the New Orleans 15-yard line. A 16-yard gain. And Ricky Williams has shaken off the rust against New Orleans.
You see here, this is what a 3-point lead did for him, and now what a 5-point lead does for the Dolphins. It allows him to hang in there with the running game and keep Ricky Williams involved, keep Ronnie Brown involved, and not depend on Gus Frerotte to throw the football all over the field to come back and win.
Ricky closing in on 100 yards, 15 carries, 79 yards. Here he is again. And he pushes the pile forward and gets to the 11. Taken down by Bullocks.
Yeah, it's so important, Gus, as you get down close to your opponent's goal line, if you can run the football. And this is why Ricky Williams, I think, has been a little bit underrated at times, because his willingness to take a play like that and pound it in there, not look for the big play, just take the yards that are coming to him.
That takes us to the end of the third quarter with the score: Miami 11, New Orleans 6. We'll return to Tiger Stadium after this message and a word from your local station. Take a look at the scoring by quarters. Miami with a safety in the third quarter. Saints with a field goal. And right now the Dolphins are threatening. Ricky Williams, 16 carries, 83 yards. The last time he rushed for 100 yards in a football game, December 21st of 2003, 111 yards against Buffalo. He stays in the game. Ricky bottled up and maybe a yard. Darren Howard with the tackle. And the Saints have made some mistakes in the third quarter.
They certainly have, and it's been one. This is a miscommunication between Henderson and Brooks, and then Stecker makes the mistake on the punt, which led to this series where Brooks gets the ball knocked out by his own back and then takes the safety because of the bad field position. All that happened in the third quarter, but it only cost him 2 points.
Dante Stallworth making the mistake on the punt. Third down and 7 at the 12. Gus Frerotte in the shotgun. They need to go to the 6 for a first down. Here's Frerotte in the end zone. Touchdown. Chris Chambers. A 12-yard touchdown strike. Gus Frerotte to Chambers. And the Dolphins take a 17-6 lead.
Gus, this is the throw that Gus Frerotte has been trying to make all day. He's overthrown a touchdown pass, he's underthrown one, and now you see there right on the money to Chambers, who finds himself open. Gus Frerotte has made the right decisions today and finally makes the right throw.
So Alindo Mare comes in to attempt the extra point. It's up and good. 14:09 to play in the fourth quarter. Miami takes an 18-6 lead as they try to snap a 3-game losing streak. Chris Chambers with his third receiving touchdown of the season as the Dolphins go 5 plays covering 51 yards, finally getting in the end zone for a touchdown. Miami leads 18-6, but a lot of time remains here in the fourth quarter. Aaron Stecker back deep as Mare drives this one. Line drive kick, takes a bounce and gets into the end zone. And Stecker will take a knee. First it was Gus Frerotte. Now Aaron Brooks has to step up and make something happen for this New Orleans Saints offense.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by AOL. Want a better internet? You belong at AOL. MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. And by Hummer. Check out the new H3. Hummer like nothing else.
Tuesday on The Amazing Race. Next stop, Costa Rica, where the terrain is treacherous and the competition is fierce. Don't miss the 3-time Emmy-winning Amazing Race, Tuesday on CBS, America's most watched network. Aaron Brooks is being watched closely now. He needs to put together a solid drive for his team, trailing 18-6. Here's Brooks, and he goes down. Backside pressure, ball picked up by Carney. Donnie Spragan getting the Brooks.
That was called a fumble in the pocket by Tom White as well. There's a flag back in the secondary, probably for illegal contact. Spragan comes off the corner, and I'll tell you guys, it's hard to know what they're going to call
illegal
this.
contact. Number 99, defense, while the quarterback was still in the pocket with the ball. 5 yards, automatic, first down.
Jason Taylor called for the penalty. Coming up, time permitting, after the game, the Subway postgame show. Join Greg, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Subway postgame show. Second week in a row with the Miami Dolphins, we've got a night game.
That's right. Both of them due to the hurricane season.
First down and 10. Brooks just throws it up. Incomplete. Intended for Devery Henderson.
And Aaron Brooks just wanted some help. He threw this up for grabs, hoping his receiver could make a play, but Henderson couldn't get to the football as he takes the inside release. I think Brooks wanted him to go to the outside. You see where he puts the football. So earlier in the second half, as Henderson and Brooks miscommunicated, and it cost him an interception. It seems to me on that play they also miscommunicated.
Now under Jim Haslett, when trailing after 3 quarters, his record 4-36. He trailed this game after 3, 11-6. Second and 10 at the 25. Brooks looking out of the backfield for Antoine Smith, incomplete. That one deflected at the line of scrimmage, and that brings up third down and 10.
Jason Taylor got a hand on that, and a moment ago Taylor was called for the illegal contact as he was in coverage. Now he rushes the passer and gets that play back, knocks that ball down, and this play had a chance. That play had a chance to be big. Antoine Smith going to catch that and turn it up the field as Jason Taylor, who's, as you mentioned early in the broadcast, Gus, is fighting an injured foot, plantar fascia, which, I mean, I've seen guys whose whole careers have been derailed by that for a year and a half trying to fix that. Some guys even go as far as surgery, but Jason Taylor is playing through it.
It feels like you're walking on glass, plantar fascia. Third down and 10 at the 25.
Play game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
You know, you might have to put these penalties. I always thought delay of game penalties, you almost had to kind of cast an eye at the coaching staff. It's up to them to get the play in there. They've got a radio. They can talk to the quarterback. If they need them to hurry up, they need to chime in and tell him.
Third down and 15. Brooks winds up down the field. Incomplete. Devery Henderson just couldn't hold on. And New Orleans has to punt it away. A perfect pass by Aaron Brooks.
It was a perfect pass, and you'll see there, just missed the interception. Did Lance Schulters, tipped it, and that's, you know, it looks like an easy ball to catch for Henderson, but if the DB, which Schulters did, gets any kind of piece of it, you can forget about the receiver catching it.
Saints punting it away. Berger almost has this one blocked, gets away a beauty, which sends Welker back to the 30. He comes up the sideline and goes out of bounds at the 40, a 50-yard punt and a 10-yard return. But there's a flag on the play, and this is going to be roughing the punter.
Oh, and they're going to call a 5-yard penalty. I don't agree. I don't agree. The defender ran through the punter's leg as it was in the air. Watches Berger's foot's in the air. That's roughing. That is roughing. That's Derek Pope, and you got to call that, and that should be a personal foul because the punter's in no more vulnerable position at any point.
Into the kicker on Miami. Penalty is declined. New Orleans will take the result of the play. First down. Timeout.
I disagree. I thought that should have been the personal foul, Gus.
13-14 remaining in the fourth quarter. 18-6 Dolphins.
See that kid? The one dreaming of serving his country? That jarhead is me.
18-6, Dolphins with the lead. And Miami has the football at their own 40-yard line. Tom White talking to Coach Haslett. And Coach Haslett probably trying to plead his case about a personal foul penalty being called, or should have been called, for roughing the kicker.
Well, you've heard of love-hate relationships. Jim Haslett has a hate-hate relationship with the officials. It hasn't been pretty in the past month for the Saints, and all the crucial calls, even game-ending, game-winning plays have gone against them. There's not much you can do as a head coach, Gus. You're not even supposed to complain.
First down and 10 at the 40. Ronnie Brown in the backfield now for Miami. They give it to the rookie. And Ronnie Brown, nice piece of running, gets to the 46. A 6-yard gain. Will Smith with the tackle. Just in time for Halloween. Homicidal mutant vampire bats. CYUSA Today says, I am so there. Brace yourself for the world premiere of Vampire Bats tonight on CBS, America's most watched network.
You gotta love that. Homicidal mutant bats.
Second down and 4. Ronnie Brown trying to run through a tackle, and Fred Thomas stops him. A flag on the play. Late flag.
Late flag, I think, for a late hit. See Ronnie Brown shaking off that one.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 57, defense. That'll be a 15-yard penalty. First down.
That's Colby Buckwald. He came in low after the running back was on the ground and hit him low. And some of these guys are so aggressive, but there's no really excuse for that. That was a late hit. You can see it from up here.
They may have had the wrong player. Look at 59.
Yeah, this is Ron McKinnon. Yeah, McKinnon is the guy that hits it. They called that on Buckwald, but McKinnon came in late.
Gus Farad on 1st and 10, up the sideline for Chambers with a stop. Oh, and broken up at the last moment by Mike McKenzie. Chambers had a step on McKenzie, but Farad didn't lead him far enough.
Again, this is a tough throw to make. Farad puts some air under this ball and gives Chambers a chance to pull it in, but McKenzie just gets his right hand in on the play. Well defended. Is a pretty good throw. It could have been another, and that's a game of inches, Gus. 25 inches or 24, 2 more feet on that pass, and it's a touchdown.
2nd and 10 at the 39. Ronnie Brown. Dwight Smith, the free safety with the tackle, and that brings up 3rd down and 9 at the 38. The Dolphins have to go to the 29-yard line for first down. Abe Lincoln. George Washington, Richard Nixon in attendance.
That's W
also,
right there, isn't it?
Yeah, there's Mr. Reagan and Mr. Kennedy. President's Day. 3rd down and 9 at the 38. Screen. Ronnie Brown will make that Ricky Williams. And a flag on the play. Darren Howard stops him. And Gus Farad is down at the 35. He gets up slowly.
They're going to call a personal foul for roughing the passer. And just when things start to look good for the Saints getting back in this game, they do something like this.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 91. It's a 15-yard penalty.
Oh, man.
First down.
Will Smith.
You know what? You can say what you want. Jim Haslett has reason to be upset with that. I think it looks like Gus Farad almost should get an Oscar for this. Watch as Will Smith comes in, turns around, everybody looks, and Farad grabs his neck and goes to the ground. Now, there's no doubt he probably got something in there, but come on, man. Always been a very frustrating penalty, Gus.
So the Dolphins remain on the field. 1st and 10. Jim Haslett still arguing. His team over the last few plays has shown a lack of discipline. Rather, here's Brown spinning. You know, 2 personal foul penalties called against the Saints defense on this drive for Miami.
And Jim Haslett, the frustration mounts as the clock winds down. In Miami, you know, if you're a New Orleans Saints defender, you're going to get a boatload of the running game from Miami. They're going to try and run this clock. They got 10.5 minutes, a little more in this game, and they wish they could hold on to that football for a long, long time. You're going to get a lot of the run game and probably a field goal attempt at the end of this drive unless the Saints can come up big.
2nd down and 10. They hand it off to Brown, and he goes nowhere. Loses yardage on the play. Stopped by Brian Young.
And now comes the point for the Dolphins where you got to ask yourself a question. 10 minutes to go. They're 2 touchdowns down, or a little more, or at least 2 touchdowns down. Do you really make a big effort to go for the touchdown to get the 1st down, or do you play it safe, hang on to your lead, and give Olindo Mari a chance to extend it? I think you give him a chance to extend it.
3rd down and 13 at the 27. Here's Farrat going up top. Incomplete. No flag on the play. Chambers, the intended receiver, and standing right there, Fakir Brown.
And here comes Olindo Mari onto the field as you watch here. Booker headed down the sidelines. A lot of contact. Booker just doing whatever he can to make sure Fakir Brown doesn't end up with the football.
Correct myself. That was Marty Booker, the intended receiver. So that brings on Olindo Mari in to attempt a 46-yarder. It's up. And perfect. Olindo Mari has been spectacular today. He's hit a 36, 37, 41, and now a 46-yarder.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Citi Simplicity Credit Card. Citi, live richly. And by Rocky Mountain Refreshing Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL and Super Bowl 40.
Dolphins lead it 21-6 with 9:28 to play in the 4th quarter. Dolphins defense has shut down the Saints offense in the 2nd half. And Gus Farrat has found a little bit of his touch back, hitting Chris Chambers for a touchdown. Mari sends it away. Here's Stecker from the 3. Stecker with a hole. Flag on the play, though. Stecker doing a nice job waiting for his blocks to set up. Returns at 34 yards, but this may be coming back.
Holding, number 51. During the return, be a 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
That's Terrence Melton called for the holding penalty. Don't forget, coming up tonight on CBS, it's 60 Minutes, followed by Cold Case, and then the world premiere movie, Vampire Bats.
I hate bats.
All right. 1st down and 10 at the 13. Brooks throws out of the backfield to Stecker, making people miss. Solid piece of running. He gets to the 20 and gains 7.
You know, you talk about these teams when they come in, Gus. Both of them are similar. They've both been through hurricanes in this season. They also, in the games that they have not looked good in, they have only themselves to blame. Today, the Saints with fumbles, taking a safety, bad plays, have really put themselves in a tough spot here in the 2nd half.
2nd down and 3. Brooks decides to take off. and he slides down at the 25, picks up the first down.
And it's also the case with the Dolphins. In the games in this season when they have not looked good, it's been because of their own mistakes and their own miscues that they have taken it on the chin. And I think today has borne that out on both teams once again.
First down at the 25. Brooks underneath, incomplete, intended for Joe Horn. He wanted a flag, probably should have gotten one.
It's amazing that Joe Horn is 12 to 15 yards down the field and Jason Taylor is guarding him. Check that, that's not Jason Taylor, that's Kawaki Thomas. Jason Taylor was chasing the play right there. There he is, all over the field. I'm making him out to be just a little better than he already is.
He's pretty good too. Second and 10 at the 25. They need to go to the 35 for a first down. Brooks fires that one. Horn with the catch. First down, and he gets to the 43-yard line before being tracked down by Tillman, and that's a gain of 18.
And Brooks has time to throw, four-man rush. And that's been the story. They have had a lot of pressure, have the Dolphins, on Aaron Brooks. He has spun out, he's taken a safety, he's been tripped up and harassed in the pocket. When he's had time, he's been very effective.
First down at the 42. Here's Brooks again, throwing off his back foot, and it's incomplete. Intended for Dante Stallworth, right in front of Reggie Howard. Well, week after week, more people turn to CBS than anywhere else on television. See for yourself why CBS is America's most watched network. And we have to say congratulations to our boss, Sean McManus, the president of CBS Sports. He's been named the president of CBS News. Congratulations, boss. Second and 10 at the 42. Here's Brooks underneath. Nice catch. Drop ball. Picked up by the Dolphins. Vonnie Holliday at midfield. And that is the third turnover of the day for New Orleans.
And I thought for a minute it might be an incomplete pass, but you know what? Dante Stallworth didn't argue.
Now let's go to Greg Gumbel, standing by for an NFL update.
All right, Gus and Steve, in San Diego, what a day Antonio Gates is having. 10 catches, 145 yards. This is his third touchdown catch of the day, a 35-yarder. San Diego's lead over the Chiefs, 28-13, coming up on 9 minutes to play.
All right, Greg, Antonio Gates, the former basketball player at Kent State, and he is considered now to be the best tight end in the NFL, according to the CBS Sports Line polls.
That's the battle of the tight ends out there. Tony Gonzalez against Antonio Gates.
Coach Haslett can't believe what he's watching. He's challenging the play. 21-6, Miami with the lead. 7:30 to go in the fourth quarter. Big decision coming up for the Saints.
A moment ago, as you saw Dante Stallworth come across the middle, he didn't argue that they told him it was a completed pass and he fumbled it. Watch as he comes across. I don't think they're going to give him the reception on this. He'll catch it and start to put it away, and it comes right out. You have to have 2 feet on the ground and control of the football, and you have to finish the catch. This could very easily be reversed as an incomplete pass. You see, he never really tucks it away, and the ball comes right out. The thing that amazes me is when he got up after this, you see, he tries to pull it in, he tries to tuck it away. He didn't have control of it, and as he tried to gather it and tuck it away, it came out. And I'll tell you what, Gus, if they give him the reception and the fumble, I've seen so many times where in the middle of the field, or if he's going out of bounds or whatever, on the boundary it's different, but in the field, it's really difficult to give him a reception on that. You have to finish. You have to finish the process of catching the football. You have to have 2 feet down and control. I don't think he had that. I don't think that was the case. And I think this is going to be reversed. It should be an incomplete pass. But as I've said a lot of times, it don't matter what I say, believe me. And two guys can look at the same piece of tape and see it 2 different ways. And I think I always say, Stallworth got up, he didn't argue. They called it a completed pass and a fumble, and he just walked off the field. So many times the receiver will say, hey, I missed it, I didn't get it. He's 1 foot down, and he starts to put it, and he doesn't have it, and the other foot comes down. I don't think you give him a reception on that.
Well, we'll see right now. Here's
I'll tell you what, guys,
White.
when you play one-on-one in practice and the receivers and the defensive backs on the same team go against each other day after day, the guys in practice don't give you that catch.
After reviewing the play, this is an incomplete pass. New Orleans will get the ball back. 3rd down and 10, the 42-yard line. On the hash mark on their side of the field, and New Orleans is not charged with a timeout.
Jim Haslett's Saints finally catch a break.
And that's one of the rare times in the NFL where you'll see a receiver happy about not getting the reception. And that's an interesting stat. 117 reviewed, 37 were reversed.
So Stallworth back on the field. He can breathe a little easier now.
But it still brings up 3rd and 10.
That's right, at the 42.
And you know, now you've lost all your rhythm. You've lost, you know, it's been a big delay in the game, trying to find yourself, call a play.
So Joe Horn and Stallworth split to the top of your screen. Stallworth in the slot. Aaron Brooks today, 12 of 25, 137 yards, 1 interception.
Unbelievable conversion rate. 0 for 9, as you just saw on 3rd down. Tough to win football games like that.
Devery Henderson, the receiver at the bottom of your screen. Brooks steps up, wants to run, and is crunched. Vonnie Holliday tackles him. A 3-yard gain for Aaron Brooks.
And I think why Aaron Brooks decides to run this, it's 3rd and 10, he's not going to get it. I think they decided on the sidelines they're going to go for it. It's going to be 4-down territory, so he knew he was going to get another chance.
Britain's Prince Charles in a rare interview. He's coming to America in a couple of days. But first, he's on 60 Minutes after the game, except on the West Coast. 4th down and 7 at the 44. Here's Brooks, got it away. Incomplete. Brooks under all types of pressure, and he's down. Aaron Brooks laid out on the play.
The Dolphins sent everybody, Gus. I mean, they sent, it looked like a team picture. Look at everybody's coming off every direction, and he gets rid of it. But because he has to do it under such pressure, and he feels the play, he can hear Reggie Howard coming, believe me.
Reggie Howard wisely easing up on Aaron Brooks as he got close to him.
There's some body language for you, Gus.
So the Dolphins have a 1st and 10 at the 44. Ronnie Brown in the game. Here's Ronnie, big opening, watch out. The rookie can run, breaks it outside. Ronnie Brown rumbling, and he gets knocked out of bounds inside the 10 by Dwight Smith. Ronnie Brown with a gain of 35.
And on this play, you can see that Saints are really selling out to stop everything at the line of scrimmage. Ronnie Brown, the patience, a great job by the offensive line, gets a crease, and there's nobody home in the secondary. They were all packed up around the line of scrimmage, and when that happens, Gus, you make one guy miss or you find one little crease and there's nobody left to tackle you.
So there's Ronnie Brown, 95 yards rushing. Nick Saban will turn 54 years old tomorrow, and he's looking for an early birthday present from his team. Don't forget, tonight on CBS, it's 60 Minutes, followed by Cold Case, and then the world premiere movie, Vampire Bats.
Prince Charles on 60 Minutes tonight, huh?
There you go.
He's coming to America.
2nd down goal at the 9. Some high fives.
There's something you see. Your head coach slapping hands with your running back. You know you've had a good day when that happens.
The reverse, Welker drops the football, but pounces on it with 5:27 to go. That'll bring up 3rd down and goal.
You know, you come out and you win this game and things go well, you're doing well. On Monday, these are the kind of plays that people talk about. You got a big lead and you're trying to run the reverse or the end around, trying to get cute. And, you know, it's just things that happen. Those are the kind of things you hear about on Monday. It's like, what were you thinking just trying an end around instead of just handing the football off to Ricky Williams or Ronnie Brown?
Brings up 3rd down and goal at the 16. Ricky Williams back in the game. And Gus Frerotte busted play here. Fred Thomas with the tackle. So it looks like the Nick Saban and the Dolphins will snap that 3-game losing streak. And we talked to him via conference call this week. And he said, Gus and Steve, you guys are calling the game. You guys are bad luck. Well, Coach, we're not bad luck anymore.
Of course, he's not
like you're going to win one.
I'm pretty sure he's not going to give us much credit.
No, he's not. He's not going to call us good luck. Right. Alindo Mare has been great luck for the Dolphins. Sends that one away, and he finally misses one from 36 yards away. He's 4 of 5 today, including a 46-yarder. Well, that's all right. And don't forget, 60 Minutes coming up next, except on the West Coast.
Well, Nick Saban, as they try to get things together in South Florida, they're trying to get electricity back for everybody. You look at their next 6 games, what they have down the road. Nick Saban and the gang, Atlanta at home, New England at home, then on the road to Cleveland, Oakland, Buffalo, and then at San Diego on the 11th of December. 3 at home, 3 away. They've been pretty good at home.
Saints take over at their own 26.
False start. Number 83, offense, 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
All right, let's look at the Saints' upcoming schedule. They played 2 home games in San Antonio. Will play 4 of their last 5 home games right here at Tiger Stadium. Chicago in the bye. 1st and 15 at the 21. Brooks wants to run it. Has a lane and goes down at 42. Fumbles the football, but they call him down. And that's a 20-yard run for Brooks. Here's Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Gus, in San Diego, the Chiefs trying to pull close to the Chargers. Trent Green under pressure, throws it up the middle. It's all messed up. Ball falls incomplete. It was a 4th and 8 play. The ball goes over. San Diego with the ball and the lead coming up on 4 minutes to play.
And the Chargers last week at Philadelphia. I'm sure they're still, Steve, scratching their heads on how they lost that football game with the blocked field goal in return for the Eagles.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the Eagles didn't play well today. They were beaten today, and you know, that's the kind of thing that you look back at that, the San Diego Chargers, and say, man, that's one that got away that we should have had. And those are very difficult to live with, no matter how the rest of your season goes.
2nd down and 10 at the 41. Brooks going up top. Stallworth, nice grab. And Stallworth is tackled at the 30. Lance Schulters brings him down, but it's a gain of 29.
And this is just Stallworth making a play on the ball. Brooks throws it out there, and watch Stallworth comes underneath, grabs it and pulls it in. He's watching the football, makes a great play. A lot of play at this point of the game, Gus. You're going to see Aaron Brooks put it up for grabs a little bit. He's got to make something happen and just hope that Stallworth or Horn can make it happen. And this is what makes a quarterback, you know, trust a receiver. When he gets outside and he sees it, he's got to adjust to the football. And it really gives the quarterback a bigger margin of error when you've got receivers like Stallworth and Horn who can adjust to the football while it's in the air.
Dante Stallworth, 4th year. His big game this season against the New York Giants, 8 catches, 141 yards. Brooks again. Pump fake. And Brooks is sacked. Jeff Skanina, 13-year veteran. And that is sack number 6 for the Dolphins today.
You see here a 4-man rush as Brooks looks down the field, and Skanina just stays with the pass rush. And the offensive line, LaCharles Bentley and Jermaine Mayberry just decide the ball should be gone and kind of turned around to look and see where it was going, and it hadn't left yet.
The Saints 0 for 10 on 3rd down conversions. Underneath, this one is caught by Joe Horn, and they pick up 14, needed 16. So they'll go for it on 4th down. Milwaukee Thomas stopping Horn.
And the Saints will take a timeout there. They got to talk this over. They got to get this 1st down. I mean, that's it. This ball game, if they don't get it, they're down to their final desperation, Gus, and they're going to have to do everything they can to score right here, right now.
Don't forget, tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, Cold Case, and Vampire Bats.
You know, you talk about, Gus, play calls in this situation. The smart thing is to get the 1st down, then give yourself a chance on 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. There's only one guy I've ever seen it on 4th and like this. He's going for the end zone, and it's our own guy, Dan Marino. And I used to want to throw rocks at him when he did it to us. He's the only guy I've ever seen when it's 4th down, you got to cover the whole field, because he's not just going for the 1st down. I think it's a smart thing to do, though, here for Aaron Brooks. Spread them out, spread the Dolphins out as much as you can. Make sure you stay on the field after this play.
4th down and 1. Brooks in trouble. Incomplete. And that will do it. Devery Henderson, the intended receiver. Nick Saban not happy about something on the sideline. And Coach Haslett watches his offense leave the field. And that should do it. 21-6. Dolphins take over with the lead. 2 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the 4th.
Yeah, and the Dolphins sent everybody on a blitz after Aaron Brooks. Jim Haslett shaking his head in disgust. Aaron Brooks had no place to go. I mean, they had everybody coming into his lap. He had to run to evade the rush. By the time he got turned around, all he needed was 2 yards, but he had to run in reverse to get the ball away.
Dolphins will run it from this point on. Ricky Williams. No, make that Ronnie Brown. Brown and Williams have been tag teaming today, and Brown picks up 5 yards. Ronnie Brown now 21 carries, 100 yards. Williams 17 carries, 82 yards.
Saints using their 2nd timeout right here. You look at their possessions. On downs, a safety. I mean, that's frustration right there. For a team, when you spoke to them, they're just feeling like they're getting into some semblance of a normal routine in San Antonio. You can't imagine what it's like. I mean, these guys are, you know, it's almost like being stationed away from home. Their wives and families, none of them really are in San Antonio. The coaches, the players, everybody are kind of living a Spartan existence out there. They still haven't found a permanent home, even in San Antonio, where they can have a day-to-day normal activity. And I think, you know, it's beginning to wear on them, no question. They feel good about themselves. They like each other, but they just have nowhere to feel comfortable.
1st and 10 at the 21. Here's Brown. And Brown pushes the pile forward and gets to the 30. Cedric Hodge, first man to him. Timeout called by the Saints. They are now out of timeouts. Stay right here. Save our Saints. That has been the theme in New Orleans. Many Saint fans are worried that the Saints will possibly move to San Antonio. There's even been some talk about them possibly trying to go to Los Angeles. And they want to make sure that the New Orleans Saints stay in New Orleans, Superdome, obviously is a building that will take some time to be rebuilt.
And I don't know whether it will happen or won't happen, but it'll be, if it does, it'll be a sad thing because the Superdome has been such a fixture along with the Saints, and the New Orleans atmosphere has been such a part of the NFL, particularly in Super Bowl time. They have had a number of Super Bowls in that city, and they've all come off without a hitch.
And don't forget, coming up next 60 minutes, except on the West Coast. Had a chance to talk to some Saints fans yesterday, and they said, like the Cleveland Browns, if the Saints are to move out of town, leave the name. Let us keep our tradition of being called the Saints and leave the name in the Crescent City.
I can go for that. That makes good sense to me. Makes good sense to me.
Cleveland moving to Baltimore, leaving the name Browns, taking on the new name of Ravens. 3rd down and 1 at the 30. Inside handoff by Ronnie Brown, and Ronnie Brown picks up the 1st down. Ronnie Brown with a very solid game, only a rookie, 22 carries, 104 yards. And that takes us to the 2-minute warning with the score. The Dolphins 21, the Saints 6. And don't forget, once again, tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, Cold Case and Vampire Bats. Let's talk about Ronnie Brown. His 100-yard rushing game today against New Orleans has made him the 6th rookie in franchise history to account for 2 or more 100-yard rushing games, joining Jim Kick, Benny Malone, Leroy Harris, Troy Strafford, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Talk about Gus as the Dolphins kneel down. You see what a two-headed monster this offense for the Miami Dolphins has a chance of being with Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams running so well. I think one drawback they have is their defense at this point isn't good enough to sustain them and keep them in games. Their offense is going to have to be more productive to win a lot of games because their defense is so nicked up. They're not going to be able to make sure that their opponents only score 13 or 10 or 16 points a game. Their defense may not be good enough to support that offense.
And Ronnie Brown talked to us this week and told us how happy he is with Ricky Williams. Ricky, a veteran and a star in this league, has really been generous and helped him in terms of learning the offense and learning how to be a professional football player. They've shared information, and both players are extremely unselfish, not really caring who gets the ball at what time.
Well, it's easy to feel that way on a day like today. Everybody there's enough football to go around for all the running backs. And these two guys, I mean, they both are real quality backs. I think it's going to be a challenge for Nick Saban and his coaching staff to include these guys. And nice homecoming here back to Baton Rouge, and this nice stadium for Nick Saban.
34 seconds and counting. And that should do it. The Miami Dolphins snapped that 3-game losing streak, improving to 3-4 now as they defeat the New Orleans Saints 21-6. Saints have now lost 4 in a row. They dropped to 2-6 on the season. Nick Saban returns to Baton Rouge, and he wins a ball game in his old stadium. 21-6 the final. Don't forget, coming up tonight, 60 Minutes, Cold Case, Vampire Bats. So for Steve Tasker, this is Gus Johnson saying so long from Baton Rouge, where the final score is 21-6. It's 60 Minutes next, except on the West Coast. A good day for Ronnie Brown and the Miami running game.